It's okay. Yeah, that's fine. I think it's a great idea to organize developers and uh, try to help the community. And I mean, we try. If it doesn't work, maybe
Yeah,
another time we're gonna work better. And like, we're not gonna give up. I think so.
yeah. Never give up. Like uh, uh,
Yeah.
the wording which is suitable for indie.
Mhm. Yeah, and development is such a hard thing, and uh, if people don't help each other, because it's not like a competition,
Yeah,
It's
I
there's
agree.
space for everyone, and if the community help each other, it's everyone like win with that,
Yeah, will benefit
It's
from
not
this.
it's not a triple A thing. That's like you have your triple A and you don't want people to play other ones but the indie games is they're shorter and like everyone should play as much indie games they can.
I totally agree. I would suggest to wait 3 minutes till maybe somebody.
That's fine. Yeah. So where are you based on?
I'm from Moscow.
Moscow. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm from Brazil actually, but I live in London
Okay.
since 5 years. Yeah, I lived in Poland as well.
I stopped myself to start asking questions about your experience, so I'll be quiet for 2 minutes.
Yeah, like yeah, I did so many shit. If you see in my portfolio, it's open here.
I was
Uh,
amazed by the amount of game project you released. Really.
this is my portfolio, and this is like I I didn't realize that since you like when you told me that oh you did a lot of shit, and it's like yeah, actually, I didn't realize that because I don't know. I think I've been doing that for so long that like some stuff like on Flash times, I was Flash developer, and after I did some stuff on XNA, I did some like stuff for like Apple, or I jumped to HTML5, and now I jump to Unity, and like I like to create videos of the stuff I try to create, and try to keep that everything. And I just joined Twitter now, and this is like a hard thing to try to get followers and get people's attention because now it's for the first time I'm really making a game
Mm.
like for release, So it's been a very very great journey. Like I think just now I think I'm ready for that
I
because
hope
it
that.
always has something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I hope that you will have enough strength
Oh,
to finish your and release your game,
yeah.
and to release successful game.
It's complicated to like try to rely on other people, and I wasn't a developer. I didn't like development. I became a developer because I needed to have money to pay my bills because I wanted to be animator. I wanted to do a lot of shit, and at that time when I started was like 12 years ago, 15 years ago.
Oh,
I was
by the
17.
way, this was my first question, and we can just start Q&A session.
Mhm.
When did you start making your first like prototypes or game projects?
Uh, when I think it was like 10 years ago, and I started to learn how Flash works 10, 12 years ago because I realized that like, oh, I could do animations, I could do some stuff. And I realized that you can code and make the sense looks better. So I just started to create stuff, like as much stuff I could create in that time because it was very hard because there was no job for that.
Mm.
Like if you're like making games on your own that time, you just like there's no way you can make money. It was very complicated to try to make a career of that.
Mm.
And when we entered the university, I did a digital games university, so a proper game university. And you just learn like how to work in a triple A game
Mm.
and C++ and those things. Like no one teach you like because in Brazil there was no AAA game companies. It still doesn't have,
Yeah.
and like you learn something that you can't use there, and was complicated. So the Unity came in when I finished the university, so I didn't learn Unity on that time. I
And
had to learn Unity
and was there
on it.
some sorry for interrupting. I just
No
uh,
problem.
yeah, that's really interesting how you started. So when you're making your Flash games, was there some examples that you were inspired of, or you just like
Uh,
how do you decide
uh,
to choose games?
Newgrounds.
Newgrounds. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the beginning of everything was Newgrounds. Like when you saw some stuff, some stupid stuffs coming in, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this shit. I like stupid stuff. And because like half of my portfolio is things I did for me. It's like I just like did stupid and silly games because I liked it. Another half I have to do for clients, and I hate clients. I hate to work for clients. I don't do that anymore. I work at the Boss Studios,
Mm.
and the company that make I'm Bread and Surgeon Simulator, and we don't have clients. Basically we have to create our own game. So that's a good job for me because yeah, and I was very inspired for like games like Castle Crashers or Binding of Isaac that came later.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a reference for like beginning when you start to realize that is it possible? It is possible to try to make a living, make like a indie games like those guys did. And the movie indie gaming movies are very inspirational for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, I
watched that
saw
so
it.
many times. Changed
Okay.
a lot now.
Let's talk a bit more about those times. Um, what was your first like successful game project, or have you ever had such successful
I
project?
I have to say that like I created this game here that's on my screen right now for is
Hold
my
on,
first mobile game.
hold on. I can see. Maybe you can share screen, or how we can see it.
I'm sharing the screen.
How I should do this? Oh, okay. I see your screen share. Yeah, this is
Can you
Rufus.
see? Oh yeah. Roofs and the Magic Mushrooms was like a very random idea, but I learned XNA because I had a Windows phone and I wanted to make a game to release on Windows phone. And I did that, and I actually have like 100,000 downloads, and I didn't expect any of that because I didn't actually finish the game, and
Hmm.
I could make a little bit of cash, but that was like some Brazilian game conference on that time, and I got some prizes because like I was like best student game or best Windows Phone game, and something that I didn't expect because the character is not like the best character it could be. It was just something I was like drawing and like, yeah, it'll be nice to have a game of that. So let's try to do it. And after that I started to pursue that, like try to release more games. And I only release like very small games, and I never really have a big release after that
Well,
uh
one
on my own.
100,000. How it was one
What?
hundred
Yeah.
thousands of downloads.
Well, yeah, because they have a free version of the game.
Well, it
And
sounds like a big success even for indie, you know.
it was in that time. It was because Windows Phone was very limited. It was 2011.
Mm.
It was oh god, it's 10 years ago. I feel old now. And yeah, no, that was I would call that like a success. I didn't make too much money because most of the downloads was like the free version of that. And I didn't care too much because there wasn't about that. It wasn't about the money. It was just like create something and be able to prove myself that like I can do. Now that's what I'm trying to do right now with my new game, but it is a higher level now.
Hmm.
Now it's like a PC game. It's just like try to get everything I learned in the past 15 years and put in this one. Mhm.
Well, I'm still amazed with this year, your first, achievements. It's
Mhm.
really inspiring.
Yeah, very proud of that. I don't think I could have this amount of downloads now.
And what was how many games did you make before that
Uh,
Rufus?
uh, I think I don't know, like 15
Oh,
games, mostly Flash games. That was the first um, mobile game I did, but I work in a company that used to make other games, so it was like a different game all the time that I have to create. So I was like learning a lot, and because I always focus in I'm not really the best developer, but I always focus in have like a good game feel.
mm,
So uh, I try to make simple but like juicy,
yeah,
and try to get some like attention because oh, there's something cool in this project. Because you can't like always have like a unique idea. You shouldn't try to have unique idea. Just try to have like make a good idea like well executed,
yeah, good
like
point.
Valheim. Valheim is like it's not a new game, but it's so well executed. All the things in that game that it's a massive hit.
Yeah, I
And a lot
think
of games they do that.
yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. That's it.
Yeah, I just want to say that this is one of the, tempting um, and, kind of mistake for somebody who haven't released any game to make something so unique that everybody will be amazed. But actually, you
Yeah,
just need to release something and then go
yeah,
from it.
yeah, yeah. With my new game, I try to keep as simple as I can. You shoot, and I try to make the shooting the best I can do. And this is just a very simple. We have like some very basic platforming elements, and shooting and the enemies are very simple because that's what I learned in Hotline Miami. It's like one hit kill, and you play that game over and over, and it's so simple, and it just works. So there's like it just works. You just see it, get that thing, get frustrated because the levels are hard, but you play that for half an hour and you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna play a little bit later because that's what the game needs. You don't
Hmm.
need to have
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
like a feature creep or make too big stuff. Like I saw a lot of people doing that, and no, well, I think it's hard enough to release the simple game. It's hard enough to finish the game and have
Hmm.
like well polished, well done the simple game. And some people they try to make it like something very big since the beginning, but they never really executed the simple
Yeah,
version of that. And that's a high risk.
yeah, that's Harris, and there there are some unique games which are made for years, but
Hmm.
it's just like sounds like a winning in roulette.
Yeah,
And by the way,
yeah.
can you explain a bit more about skills or experience? What you had learned before releasing this um, success, Rufus? Can you remember what kind of skills you've acquired?
Yeah. I remember that on that time I remember asking my friends if it's like they could help me like
Mm.
doing some animations and stuff, and like no one ever can help it. It's a very true in development. Like it's like very rare situations that someone gonna help you. Like it's sad, but you have to learn things on your own. So that's when I have to learn a little bit. I have to learn more design, more animation. I have to learn more about UI, and I have to learn so many things to be able to execute the things without have to ask
Mm-hmm.
anyone. Because if I
Mm-hmm.
have to depend on someone else, I wouldn't release anything because just like hard people don't help you. Like there's few people that like really sit and like, okay, I'm gonna help you because everyone has their own projects.
Yeah, that's a
And
big
it's the
problem
same if someone if
nowadays.
someone come to me right now and say, hey, can you help me? I can help like talking or like explaining something, but I wouldn't be helped to be able to just download the project and try to code. Like I just can't, because you have to learn another code base for that, and you have to learn another pipeline, and you have to learn like something completely different. But like someone just look at like I have like concept artists like friends, and like art directors, and they always I always ask for them for help, but the help is like, do you think those colors are matching? Or do you think there's enough contrast in here? You have to be more objective in what you're asking. So if you came someone and say like, do you think the character has a good contrast between the background? And they're gonna say like, oh yeah, it's good, or no, no, tweak a little bit that. Because if you ask, do you think this is good? They're probably gonna say, yeah, yeah, it's good. They're not gonna give you the feedback you want. You have to be more objective when you want to ask something for people.
Okay, so to let me repeat what you said, that you said that you learn animation,
Mm-hmm.
2D drawing,
Mm-hmm.
and programming in Flash,
Mm-hmm.
UI,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with UI, and that's it, I guess. Or you mentioned something.
Yeah, yeah. For before release, that game was this, because it was 10 years ago, and I learned XNA. That's like the Microsoft
Yeah.
platform to develop, to create that game, so I could compile on my phone. Because I started it because I have that Windows phone. It was very weird. It was a Samsung Windows phone, because I didn't have money to buy a proper phone, and I just wanted to plug something on my phone and just be able to see on the screen, say like, oh, that's cool, it's up on my phone. And I started to learn that thing just to put in my phone. And I normally do those things. I start to do something, and yeah, I just keep going, and like I say like, oh, that's nice, I put an image here, oh, let's make this thing move, and it starts to make the thing move. And when I
Cool.
realized, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of have a game here. Then I I kept doing it, and until like, okay, when I realized that at some point I have a game, I was like, okay, let's just gonna release that then.
Okay. So five thing was learning C sharp, I guess. Yeah. XML.
Yeah, it was XNA C sharp, yeah.
Okay. And how many time uh, between
uh
your doing and this successful Rufus game?
I I took a month, to be honest. It was very quick to
Really?
create that game, because the place I was working, I didn't have anything to do, because they didn't have any demands for games in that time, and I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. And I was just like spending the whole day, like every day on the week, the whole day, just coding and learning how the things was working. And it was made in one month. I actually very fast developer, because I I can make something cute, beautiful, very quick. It's a kind of skill that like during the time I just got that. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just something a fox and because if I move something and it doesn't look satisfying enough, I'm gonna fix that straight away. And because those things was bothering me for like so long time, so much, like people they weren't care, like another developers just like, whatever, just make this thing move, and wasn't really feeling good. It's like, I want to be a game developer, like I don't want to just make the thing like that. I want to try to make the thing right,
Okay.
so you kind of fox. The company I worked before, it's called Good Boy Digital. They were uh, HTML5 developers, so they create some big engine for HTML5 rendering, and was WebGL, and like I was really very focused on game feel and juiciness. I like create effects, create stuffs, like using shaders that could like make all the experience better. So that's like my expertise. It's tricky because when you are inside the company, when you have too much skills, like and it's hard to grow inside the company, because they want a AI specialist, so they want someone that's very good at AI. Can I do AI? Yeah, I can do a little bit, but I'm not a specialist on that. So what an specialist, like in game field, but what does that mean? Like I can make things looks good, yeah, I can make things look good, but how you when you there's this hierarchy of developers, and the other developers that look at you, they are like developers. They want to see development. They want to see programming skills. They don't care too much about like, oh, this guy can do like this very cool animations. Like, it doesn't matter. You have to have this skill. But as an indie developer, this is essential to have a good product, because sometimes when you're going to release your indie game, it doesn't really need to have the best code in the world, but for an indie game be good, it needs to feel good. It needs to feel good in the first 5 minutes, and this is not about better coding. It's more about feeling, like how you feeling developing that, and how much like love you're gonna put in that, because it's very clear now when you download the game, if that game there's like love involved in that. It's like we're gonna say about Valheim again. When I saw that game, it's like, oh, those guys had fun doing that. They really enjoy doing that. And if you have games like State of Decay, for example, it feels like they put a spreadsheet in a game, they put a zombie game there, and boom, they create a game. And there's some games that they don't have the soul of a game that a small team or like a single developer can do, because they treat the project as like their song, and that's why I think those kind of skills is not very good for a company, because the way it works, because like, oh, if they want animation, they're gonna hire an animator. If they want some effects, they're gonna hire like a VFX artist. They're not gonna use like the same guy to do the multiple things. But yeah,
Well,
that's what I learned.
that sounds interesting about game feel and what you said. And how do you understand that you're good at animating at
Okay.
game feel?
Yeah. I have actually a prototype here that I can show you. Uh, can you see my screen?
Yeah,
Okay, so this
some
is a very
dots.
basic thing. Okay, yeah, it's you just shoot in the balls, and you and that's it. But the thing is, like, how do you transform a simple game? It's the same code in this.
Oh, yeah, it looks much better than before,
Yeah.
and
So
so many
basically,
special effects.
yes. So there's that too. I put down all the categories here. So
Whoa.
I could talk to the juniors of the company I worked before, and those toggles here, all the effects I add on this game. I can show you for some categories. For example, like this background looks like shit. So I can add a little bit of particles on the background. I can add, a little bit of gradients. I can add some smoke, you know.
Yeah,
So
looks.
it makes the background look a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is like camera is very static, so I can maybe add some follow on the camera. You know, the camera is
It's
following the.
that's the favorite trick of Lambert.
Yeah, and I can add some noise. I can add some pixelate as well. Pixelate, it depends if you like or not, and it's a shader that pixelate all your screen. I can add some RGB RGB filter to make like some color aberration. I can add some shake, because shake is everything. So when you shake and you have all the effects combined, you have like, okay, what's going on here? And the most important thing is the player. Like, I can, for example, lamp the angle of the player. So now when you rotate, the spaceship rotates as well. It makes it feel smoother.
More dynamic,
I can
yeah.
lamp the position. Yeah, like larping the position, it's just gonna make like this smooth look smoother. I can add this stretch animation, so you're gonna feel like a little bit more alive, a little bit more organic.
And
Uh,
all these special effects are how to shaders. Are there shaders?
Most of them they are not. What is shader here is like most of them just like scale, just like some animation principles
Ah,
like
okay, okay.
stretching on exaggeration, and like for example, I can add the trail the player. Some I can shoot feedback. So now like without the shoot feedback is very static. When I add the shoot feedback, you can feel the bouncing on the shoot.
Yeah.
I can add shooting particles. So and I can add
Oh,
this color.
I like that effect. Firing like a laser.
Yeah, I can just animate the power bar on the top. So I can add the ghost. It means like just like a little bit of trail. I think this is an effect that you use RDs or use the trail. Don't use both at the same time. So I can, for example, add trail on the bullets. Like as you can see, I color twinning as well. Anytime I shoot my bullets, they change the color. In the
Dynamic
background,
environment.
change the color as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can.
Whoa.
Yeah, adds the particle when it exploding, so it's get something better. Like I can add the particles on the trails as well. So it makes the bullet like okay, that's cool. I can add like a sinusoid movement for that. But it's always very satisfying when you do that. And this stretch is very hard to see, but it's just like deform the bullets. And this is about the laser, like this laser. I can. I think I have to toggle all the effects to be able to show like that.
Oh.
So
Super powerful laser.
yeah, it stops the screen for a moment. You have like this
And blinks.
scale. Yeah, the camera gets dark and you kill everything on your way. And enemies, wow, cannot shadow. That's one thing that's cool. Cannot jump. So make them jump. Feels more alive. You can add some like this anticipation stage is just like for deforming when you are jumping to make the bouncy feels a bit more bouncy. You can add some explosion particles when they die. You can add a persistent particle when they die. So if you kill them, you're gonna have this pool of blood there. So I can kill some guys here, and you're gonna have the pool of blood there. You can add faces, of course. You can add like this entrance animation. So when they enter, they have this first jump when they are first coming on the screen. And you can match the background color. So pretty much all the time they come, they're gonna come on the same color of the bottom of the gradients. What this means that after some times we're gonna have like a nice palette of color of the enemies that I have based on my background. So try to feel cohesive with everything. So the HUDs, like I can pixelate the labels as well. It doesn't really do too much. I can add some score when I don't know what the score should appear.
I just amazed
But
how this ugly first pictures transform into
yeah.
so smoothly.
Oh yeah. Now I can see this. I can see the score coming. Now when they kill the enemies, they should appear labels. Boom.
Ooh.
This is a feedback when you kill like a lot. You have this like big thing on your face. And this is just a glitch that I add. So on the labels, I like to add those glitches. And there's some like gameplay things that I can add. I can add the aim. So now I know where I'm aiming. The aim is color coded as well. It's like the same color of the bullets are shooting. I can add a swarm of enemies. Like this is just pretty much just generated this mayhem thing, and lots of enemies coming here, and you have this like a great thing just happen here. I can add this LSD effect. It's pretty much this is a shader. It's just saturated some elements of your screen, so to feel that you are in an LSD trip. I can add this TV effect. It's just pretty much the border and add some scan lines. and I can add the texture, or, and I can add perspective. Perspective, some people like, some people not, but now I have the full stack of all the effects that I had before, and one by one, if you can remove,
Yeah.
I can remove that, and it'll be like that, and I can
Just
add it back. And
completely different games.
yeah, that is.
Whoa.
So this is, yeah, this is useful for like understand what juiciness, what game feel
Mm-hmm.
does for your game, because it's like it's not much people that like they really focus on that, because sometimes people are proud of like, oh, look at this jump I did,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's not even that good, but you know it's hard to tell people that it's not good, it's
Mm-hmm.
not very good, because it happens a lot with game development, of like this criticize your own work. Like sometimes you have to see your work, be a bit critical on that, and think like maybe it looks like shit, maybe it's not right, and maybe redo that, restudy that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and tools like that just happen to see like, oh, maybe I should apply this thing on my jump, or maybe I should do this way tweezing or smoothing, or different things, because this is a problem of development that I found a lot in a lot of people, that they don't like to be criticized,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a shame, because like sometimes a good critic it helps your project
Yeah,
to
it's
get way
healthy
better,
to progress. Yeah.
yeah, and knowing that it's not good, it's a huge step.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you are bad.
Yeah, definitely.
It's by any means it means you're bad. You are good at
Mm-hmm.
something, but if you look at your person and think like, it's not good something here, like, or something can change, or maybe your project doesn't need to be like, for example, ring words. It doesn't need to be more beautiful than that. It easily could be beautiful than that, but that game is ugly as fuck. But it doesn't need to be pretty, like, so it depends on what you're doing. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you try to make some like a impact like straight away, I think game feel and juiceness is like a powerful tool to improve your projects.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And there is, I just had one question about this special effects. Is you know, how do you understand when to stop? Add new features.
Yeah, that's a biggest problem. And like the feature creeping, it's I suffer from that. Like my game, um, I always adding like, oh, it would be nice to have this effect or this effect or this effect, and
Yeah, me too.
sometimes I forgot to make what I had to do, and I do that at work as well. And like my boss all the time tell me like, oh, Jeff, no, let's focus on this because that's what the game needs. Like, yeah, I understand. I admit, I am feature creep, and I like to make things beautiful. And sometimes in some stage of development, it shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just have to make them work. And it's hard. I don't know how to tell people of like, don't do that, because I do that quite a lot. And one thing that I found useful is I have my Trello boards, and I try to organize my Trello boards to see like what this product needs to be a product, like what people needs for to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I I did a game, a prototype for my one of my prototypes that I did for that. Just logging here. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna get the link here. So
Yeah, this is the game you are
I
working
did,
now.
yeah. This is, I didn't put the link here. That's some stupid, but This is the prototype of the game I'm working on,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a game jam. It was 2 weeks of work, and when I started that, this one it works well for me because I had this idea to create this hand, to animate the hand, and
Mm-hmm.
because I know animation, I started to study a little bit of kinematics in Unity, and I use Unity to animate the hand and try to make the transitions. And like, yeah, why not? Like that should be cool. And this project, I focus a lot in not feature creep that. I focus a lot in like, I need to have a playable level and I need to have a boss, and that's the whole experience I'm gonna have here.
Mm-hmm.
So I managed to make this prototype workable. Like you can play the whole level and finish the game. There's very little bugs, and that was very hard for me to not to like just start squatting thing because my nature, it is complicated,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I
it works
totally
very well.
understand. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do this with my project now, and one thing that I like to do is play with colors because I think colors are your friend, and if you just understand how you're gonna combine colors and how you're gonna contrast colors, that's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like uh like if the colors are too similar, it can damage your game. So you need to be able to have this like contrast between your character and everything was going on there. And like when you shoot something, you need to have that impact. You need to have the timing of the things that needs to have on the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think if one tip I can give to everyone's like combining colors or try to make like the harmony between colors right. It makes a whole difference because you can have like an amazing pixel art thing,
Mm-hmm.
but if the colors are washed out or they're too saturated, or you can't have the distinction between the background and the foreground, it's not going to be good. If you see one element separated, like, oh, this character is great. If you see the whole picture, maybe it's not great. So yeah, like you learn to play with colors or
How do you call
post
this
effects as
skill?
well. It's nice.
S-
Sorry,
how do you call this skill with color balancing with
I don't
understanding?
know. I don't know. I don't know. I think the color thing is because I like get obsessed like because I have lots of friends that are designers,
Mm.
and they normally use it to like very nice colors. And when sometimes I look some of their designs like, oh man, look at this blue backlight you put there. That's so cool. I didn't think about
So
that, and
yeah, it's
I
basically
start to get
designing.
obsessed on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's basically a design. I think you have like some tools to help with colors, like Adobe Color.
Mm-hmm.
So they give you like color palettes.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can like, for example, you pick some color palette here, and you probably can use this like 5 colors, depends on how you want to use that. And this looks like the color palette on the Wonderson,
Yeah, this is
by the way.
important thing to make.
And yeah, there's like a lot of different way that you can see here from
Mm-hmm.
like how to
Mm-hmm.
harmonize your colors. And most of the things, like, you need to have a good eye, and having a good eye is just, everyone has an eye for things, like you can see something and say like, oh, that's beautiful, and understand why that's beautiful. It's tricky. It's very tricky
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
people tend to copy, and like, oh, I see this thing on the game, I'm gonna do exactly the same in my game. Or these particles here, I saw that's good, and sometimes it becomes a mesh of things that it doesn't go well together, and it doesn't add anything to a game. And that's another thing, like what you're doing is going to add for a game. That thing is necessary. Your game needs that, and that's why you have to cut things, because add stuff on your game is easy. Cut
Mm-hmm.
stuff from a game is not easy
Yeah.
because people get attached.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I cut stuff from my game. I remember cutting some animations, like some idle animations, some like resting. I have an animation that the hand just drop the gun and start to rest, and that was causing me problems. Like, I don't need that. Like I wanted to make like to be able to don't have a gun, and so it means you need to have like the animations of the hand without the gun. And I have some animation of that, and I realized that it's a game about shooting. So why the hell am I gonna do that? Why I'm not gonna have a gun on you? So I just say like no, I'm gonna go for the simple way. Just go for the gun, and that's the way I'm doing it right now. So I wanted to add everything. Like I'm playing Control recently, and like oh, it'd be nice if the hand could be able to break the wall,
Mm-hmm.
bring some rocks and throw the rocks. It's like I was just thinking technically how we're going to do that. It was like, oh, I think I know a solution for that. Then I stopped like, why do that? What? The game doesn't need that. Why are you gonna break an environment that's just gonna fuck up everything? Just not that's one's word. So I
Yeah.
cut that completely before I
Yeah.
start to do that.
Okay. If you were, you know, suggesting some one advice for indie dev, what it would be based on your experience right now? So, let's say,
Uh,
what do you
yeah.
suggest to yourself?
I think the most thing is just like make your game works
Mm-hmm.
first, you know, and your game, if your game is fun, it's like like the classic thing about if the game works in the white blocks, it gonna if it feels good,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be good. And yeah, make the core mechanic of the game first. Like, what's your game is about? Like, my game's about shooting and headshot. Headshot's the
Mm-hmm.
most satisfying thing in games, and I love this. And they're gonna make a game that you need to do like a lot of headshots to be good at it. So make that headshot be good. If that headshot's not good, the rest of the game is not going to work. Like if you like you're gonna make a game that's about like farming. So okay, so I'm gonna start to give like a basic farming and I start to make like relationship with people. Is my farm good enough? Like did I put enough time on the farm? If the game is about farm, because your game needs to have some pillars and respect to that. Like so your game is this, and I'm not like you have to do like everything you do for a game needs to go for that direction. So what's your game gonna benefit? Like what this feature you're gonna add in my game? Should I add that or
Mm-hmm.
not? And more features doesn't mean better game. Sometimes it's completely the opposite. I
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
less features is a better game. For people like me that doesn't have too much time to spend in games. So I like to sit and have the simple gameplay and that's it. Like I don't want to have like a super complex systems. I don't like that.
Yeah, I can relate to this. And basically, you remind me the term, the definition of hooks. Have you heard about hooks? The Ryan Clark's
Uh,
article about
I
hooks.
think so.
Like,
The hooks of the games, like what make you hooked in?
yeah, what makes hook people and your
Yeah,
suggestion focusing on these hooks is like
yeah,
uh, similar.
yeah.
Okay.
Like the whole game could have one mechanic like super hot.
Mm-hmm.
Super hot is one mechanic. If you move, the time moves. If you don't move, the time moves very slow. And that's the whole core mechanic of the game. That's it. And it just works super well. Like one of the best games I played recently, and doesn't need more than that. It doesn't. Like imagine if they start to get like a weapon upgrades or like more stuff like that, like an RPG system for your character. And like no, it is gonna break the game. The game is
Mm-hmm.
about time. It's a puzzle. And they know that. And they did the game what the game they thought that the game was supposed to be, and that was the game. Done. Perfect. That's what should be. Mainly for indie developers, who don't have big budgets. Well,
Yeah,
I don't even have a budget, so
yeah, that's good advice and good suggestions. Like especially when you have so little resources as an indie dev.
yeah.
Okay, I think we cover a lot, and we can wrap up our session, Q&A session. And I was learning a lot from your game feel, and I hope that everybody who will see it also take a lot of stuff for their games. So I'm really happy to have you
You
here.
can find the
Yeah,
sorry.
I
Oh, sorry.
guess.
I was actually wondering if you want to take time for one more question.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, of course. Our
Cool.
time.
So I think, first of all, this was super informative, at least for me, because I definitely have fallen into the trap of working on a project. I'm currently working on a project for it's been probably 5 or 6 months, and something that you made me realize, because my end goal is I would love to probably have some portfolio where I have the flexibility to either possibly work for a company or just have some sort of portfolio to collaborate with other people, so people know that I'm capable of building stuff. Uh, the one
Hmm.
thing, so I'm currently going to be participating in a jam, which is taking place in 2 days, but is that I was wondering is if I wanted to work, if I wanted to build my portfolio with I guess, a diversity of games, so diversify my portfolio rather than building long projects. What's what is a good general time box for how long I should aim to work on and finish a project if I'm aiming to build my portfolio?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Like, uh, there's 7 or 8 games in my portfolio. They're game jams. Like, I participate of normally every year in the global game jam. I skipped 2 years, I guess, and like I have like a 3 game jams in Brazil, one in Poland, one in Netherlands, one in UK. Because game jams are fascinated by that. I'm that guy that doesn't sleep because I like to have this short burst of adrenaline. And what to say to you is like everything you do, you should say that because I only have a portfolio to show now because everything I was doing, I was saving, I was getting screenshots, I'll get some images of that and put in my Dropbox. And one day when I sit down, so like I wanna put my portfolio online, I have this amount of things that I did, and Game Jam is the best place to do that. Honestly, because you sit with people, you're interacting with people, you're changing experience, uh, and it's just it's so good and so like everyone wants to help you, and you want to help everyone because it doesn't matter. It's not like it doesn't matter competition or anything. It doesn't matter like everyone wants to have a game at the end because it's hard to have a game in 48 hours. So like if you want to have working for the portfolio, I I would tell you that you can make like a video of some stuff you do. Like, for example, I made this video here. Can you see my screen?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, what's I going to do? I'm gonna animate this chicken. So I spent like 5 days animating the chicken. It's like, okay, I'm gonna make a video of that. I just make a video of that, put in my portfolio, done. Never touching the project anymore. So I do that a lot because sometimes you have a great idea, and the great idea, it's hard to transform that idea in a game. So you just like make what you like, put your idea in like some like a digital form, and show people like what you're doing. That like, oh, look at this idea I have. I cruise through that. Like I made this character moving. You don't have to make a full game.
Mm.
But if you have material to say like I did this character movement, look, that's cool, just a character movement, or I did this camera effect here, that's cool. Like you don't need to have the whole game because like most of the things I have, they're not full games. They're like incomplete games or game jam stuff.
Hmm.
La- and yeah, like and don't be shy like of the things you do. Show the people that you're doing. you know, like this one was very fun to do because it was very unexpected.
Yeah, surprisingly.
That's funny.
So this is the same thing, but this one I did at Boss Studios because they are say for me and another developer that's because I did the whole unicorn thing and he did the FPS scene. And what we wanted to do here is just like let's make something weird, like and we work just to make something weird. This game doesn't work. No, it's not playable. It's a video, because we just wanted to show an idea that a game that we wanted to do and we just work towards this idea, like because it's so complicated to finish a game. And if you're gonna wait for you to be able to finish a game, to be able to show what you're capable to do, it might take so long, and you might sometimes give up on your project in the beginning, and at the end you're gonna have pretty much nothing, or just like some small thing to show,
Hmm. That's super helpful. That's super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, don't be shy. Show people what you're doing. Ask for feedback, for honest feedback. And if you ask for like an objective feedback, is even better because if you ask people like what do you think about the scale of my character on the screen, and that's like something that you're gonna have a very precise feedback. Instead, say, what do you think about this screenshot? There's two different ways to ask people, and one thing is very helpful. Another thing, you're gonna have generic like, oh, that's cool, and you don't want that. You want a criticizing. You want someone to say it's like, this is not the best one. You should maybe try that, and that's a good way to improve.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Do we have any other questions?
I had a question about prototyping, if I could ask.
Yeah, sure.
course.
Steve, hi.
Hi. So I've heard many people talk about prototyping and what's involved in that process. And they talk about, they mention phrases such as vertical slices and, everything needs to be polished. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that and what process you go through when you're building a prototype. Like, do you like pull assets from the asset store so you don't have to go and create them yourself just to get something quick?
Yeah, I definitely do that. Like at the company I work in, we go to the verticals and we try to be, like to make exactly what you say. Like what you're going to do now. Let's do an horror game. So let's go and like this conversion, try to make this thing based on this like horror game. What's this? Like we study like what an horror game does and how can you make that thing better. And that's one thing when you in a company that works a little bit more structured like that. On my own, and the company as well, we had for the prototypes, we use asset store all the time because you're not going to create an asset for cheaper proof of concept. And on my own, everything is mostly asset pack, but I customized the asset packs I got. Like I changed the shaders, I changed the mesh, I changed the animations. I get a more generic again on the asset pack to try to make my own version of that, so it doesn't look that generic because I'm not 3D artist. I can't like make a 3D model, so I need a 3D model. I'm gonna find something, like some, like the hand I'm using on my game is a VR hand for like a VR hand kit, and so people use that for VR games. So like, okay, let's get this hand, let's hit that on the unit because this I can do, and let's make the animations. So I make all the animations inside the unit, but I wouldn't be able to do that if I have to make the hand. And it's the same for like environment. I try to use like blocks, pro builder, and make like, oh, let's make some very nice and glossy shader and like some neons thing to make the mood. And like the stats of my prototype right now, it's pretty much I think I can show here. I can show, let me share. Can you see my Unity here?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So I can show a little bit of how this prototype is structured. Just get the sound off. Okay. So pretty much it's a blocks. Everything on this prototype is made by blocks. I got an asset pack of some cyberpunk environments. I changed it, everything it could change that, and I add the same texture on everything to be able to have this vaporwave effect that I wanted, because the effect itself, I have to make these neons here.
Right.
It's pretty much just a material that have some like I forgot emission light, and I add on the game. I change the emission light in some aspects of the game, but everything is pretty much like blocks and reflections that Unity just give to you.
And so is that a
So
reflection of what your final game is going to look like then, just made of blocks, or are you going to refine that?
it's probably, if the game works well with the blocks, I don't see any problem to make that, because it has to be fun with the blocks, and I don't know if I'm capable to make something more complex than the blocks. So if I'll be fine to put the blocks, not these blocks right now. I'm gonna probably make something a little bit more sophisticated, but they're gonna be blocks. They're gonna be blocks, because most of the work here is the post processing. Because one thing I use here on the post processing that makes the whole difference is the screen reflections. So if I remove the screen reflections, and it starts to make like remove, yeah, like to see that it starts to get like a bit wash out. So there's a huge work
Mm-hmm.
with post processing as well.
And
That's the
how much of the final game mechanics is in your prototype? And is everything in there, or have you just picked the main features?
I mean, it walks, it jumps, it runs, it shoots, it dash, and it do this little side steps. And I don't want to add anything more than that, because I have 4 different guns as well.
Okay.
And the enemies right now, they don't shoot you, because I took this feature off to be able to test. But when they shoot you, they got hard, because it's one hit kill. So, and there's this slow motion mechanic as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So basically,
So you
yeah,
don't need to put every gun in there. You don't need to put every single enemy type in there.
no, I make works. This is my playground. I make this thing works. When I feel satisfied with this playground, I gonna move to make a first level and see if that first level works well. Because it's hard to like to start to build a level without to have your mechanics like feeling good. So yeah, like for example, the response system is something that I did at first. I play on the controller as well. I can play on the mouse and the keyboard, but because it's very important to make this work on the controller. Lots of people appreciate that, and I did a lot of work on the enemies to kill them, and the shoot feedback as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
It already looks juicy.
yeah, I came to a point that's like I have to stop to watch stuff, because I enter on that spiral that I warn everyone to not entering. It's like my game is fine now. I don't
Mm-hmm.
need to be adding more effects, and I add like this. When you shoot, there is like a wave coming from your gun. There's so much small details that I added that is like, okay, I have to stop this,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not going to build the game now. Now I'm following my Trello cards and doing what I think my game needs to be able to have my first level, because everything is about to have the first level. It's we need to have that. How we're going to make my first level works. So like, okay, I have enough mechanics. I'm probably going to disable the dashing and the punching that I have because uh, the game works without that. And like I created that, I don't know why, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep on the game or not. But I created that. So I for the first level, I don't even know if I'm going to use the punching thing. I still have to balance that or the dashing, you know. So yeah, the first level doesn't need that. The first level just needs jumping and shooting, and because that's like a beginning of any game. You know, when you start a game, you don't start with everything you have. So you start the game, shooting, doing the thing, and create your first level, and make people test that and get feedback. And people probably gonna say like, I don't like this controller. This controller doesn't look good. I think like, oh, it's much better in Fortnite. Or and those kind of feedbacks you have to like abstract that and like just make notes of that because sometimes people are right, sometimes people are wrong, but you have to understand that they're gonna play your game, and you can't just ignore it and say like, no, my character control is good, and just ignore completely. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes your character control is good enough, and some people they just don't like that character control, you know. But sometimes there's some flaws in that and that you can't see, and make people play that is the best thing, and it's the hardest thing as well because few people are keen to really play and give a feedback. You know, like some people do that, and I appreciate a lot when they do.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort just to get a random stranger to really, put time into your game. And why would they want to do that? It's difficult
Yeah,
to find.
definitely. And like recently joined Twitter like 3 weeks ago, and it's very hard to. So I mean, I'm very new on Twitter, but it's like I try to call attention, so I have to create memes on that, like funny videos with my game, because that's the best way to make people see what you're doing when they have a laugh on that. And it is, you know, create those things. It kind of like take me off for the game. But if I don't work on that and I don't make people know that my game exists, they they not gonna know when I release my game. They're not gonna want to try my game and play my game and give me feedback. So sometimes you have to work on this networking, and I'm afraid I took too long to start that. I should have done that like a year ago, and now like in 5 years ago.
Yeah. All right, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing your thoughts.
No
O-
problem.
Okay, guys, thanks for your questions. And Jeff, I really wish you a great success and hope that your game will be successful and you'll release it.
Thank you very much. I'm working for that.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah, try.
yeah, nice to have
Thank
you
you. No problem.
here.
Yeah, if you need anything, guys, just give me a shout. I can give
Yeah,
you
okay,
a
yeah.
honest feedback.
Sure, we will, get in touch in the server.
Yeah. No, I'll be around here.
You plan to stay for a while in this
I
Discord?
have my kids. I have my kids, so I have
No, no. I
to
mean, I
feed.
mean, in this Discord server, are you gonna stay for a while?
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna stay here. Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
cool.
I'm not in very much Discord channels. Most of the Discord I use is for my company. So yeah, I'll stay around here. If you guys need any tips, you can ask. I'm gonna try to answer as quick as I can.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you all. So, good luck in your initiatives. Bye bye, see you later.
Thank you. See you guys.
Bye.